start modeling this back part over here, so let's get to it. Let's build a simple cube. Pull it back, scale it down. Scale it down like so. Scale it down a bit more, Okay, that looks like it'll work. Alright, let's take this right here, extrude it to scale it in, inset it, whatever. Okay. And now what we're going to do is, sorry about that, take these two edges, Shift D to split them, and let's split them about, let's see, split them, let's try 16. Let's do what we did last time, and let's do 17. I'm going to Alt select there. Oops. It's going around. So I'll just select all of those like that. Shift D to split them, and I'll split them twice. There we go. And now what I'll do is all those polygons now selected. I'm going to inset these. I'm going to take merge off. And I'm going to inset these like this. Don't like the way that's insetting. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. And inset them like this. And for whatever reason, the other ones didn't want to inset correctly, so I'll just deselect all of these. And with all of these selected, I'll just go in here and scale them in so they match the size of the other one. Alright. So now I gotta go back in here and select all these guys. Beautiful. I'm gonna select all of these guys right here, which are really annoying me. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Control D to extrude, and I'm going to pull those in. I think we pulled in pretty deep. I'm going to go to top view here. Just select all these edges here. And it's just a matter of simply right-clicking and beveling those guys. So I'll bevel them a good amount. Something like that. Try a distance of 3, 2, and actually that looks like it'll work. Right, I'm going to take this polygon here and I'm going to bring it down a bit like this. Not too much, something like this will do. And now I'll take this one and I'm going to extrude it up like that. And now all I have to do is take all those edges all the way around and simply bevel those to get a nicer edge. You can see they beveled wrong, so what I have to do is freeze modeling. Let's go to freeze all transforms, select those edges, and now let's try to bevel again. And now it looks like it beveled correctly. So I'll give it a couple of subdivisions and a little bit of rounding, something like that. Alright, perfect. Now I'll just push this in more, something like this. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is pretty simple actually. I'm going to go ahead and let me see how I'm going to do this. I can't just duplicate it and bring it over here and make a smaller one, because it's going to end up doing this to to my little circles, which ruins it pretty much, defeats the whole purpose of doing it. So I'm gonna have to create a new one from scratch, unfortunately, but oh well. If that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do, right? So let me go ahead and let me see if actually yes, or no, no. I'm gonna duplicate this guy, bring him over, okay. I'm gonna go here to selection. I'm gonna take the bevel up, delete it, so this is no longer beveled. I'm gonna take this back polygon, and I'm gonna rip it off. Freeze modeling. Take this guy and delete him. Come back here, grab this guy, bring him over here. Now I gotta make a little change here. I gotta go to poly mesh and I gotta invert. So now it's facing this way. Okay. Gonna push him in. Go to polygon mode, select that polygon, Control D to extrude, and bring them out like this. Okay? Pretty simple. I'm going to take the whole thing and bring it down to something like this. Let's bring the whole thing over here and maybe move them down like this. Take this guy and maybe pull him out a little bit like that, not too much. I'm gonna grab this guy here. Gonna grab his center polygon here, and I'm gonna bring it down to about, I don't know, something like this. Looks good. Okay, I'm gonna go into my front view here. And I need to square this out, so I'm going to pick these two vertices there. Make sure I got COG turned on with global. I'm going to scale it down on itself, and I'm going to do the same thing with these to make them perfectly straight again. Now I can take that polygon, I can bring it down like this, and now it's really easy. Take those two guys right there, Shift D to subdivide them, and I'm going to subdivide them maybe 9 times, like that. Take all of these guys here, Shift D, subdivide them maybe, yeah, I'll just do it twice, what the heck. With all those guys selected, let me go ahead and freeze modeling on this thing and freeze all transforms. Let me freeze modeling again. Let me go to polygon mode, right click. I'm going to inset. I'm going to take merging off. And I'm going to bring this down to about this much right here. And let me see if scaling is going to work, and nope, it's not going to work. That's just too bad. Okay, it doesn't matter. We'll do it that much. And then what we'll do is we'll take the whole thing and kind of scale it down on itself like this. We'll take all those polygons, extrude, pull them in, go into the top view, go to edge mode, select those edges there, so we have all of those selected. Right click, let's bevel, increase that distance as well as the subdivisions. I'm going to have to increase the roundness some more, so it's something like this. Okay. Oh, middle click those guys there, bevel them, and they didn't bevel correctly, or did they? Actually, no, they did. So I'm going to bevel them about that much, and freeze modeling on that, and that one is done. Okay, and we still have to create another one, fortunately. We're gonna have to create the another one, another shape here. Sucks, but it's got to be done. So again, I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. I'm gonna select this guy over here, steal, and I'm gonna keep it this time. Freeze modeling. Bring this guy up. Pull him out. I'm going to also go here to polymesh, and I'm going to invert the polygon so it's facing the correct way. Scale him down a bit. And it's pretty simple. At this point, all I need to do is, let's move this guy back. Control D to extrude, pull him out a bit like this. Control D to extrude again. Inset this guy. Something like that is good. Control D to inset him again and push it in. Like that. Now this part's actually, it's going to start to actually get easier, fortunately. Let me see. I could actually probably use this guy. Let me take this polygon here. I'm going to rip it off. Bring it up. Go to this view over here. Switch the wireframe. Scale it down. Not too much, but not too little either. Move it closer. Like that'll work. Choose the polygon and just extrude it out. See kind of this shape right here. Extrude again and scale it. Scale it in like this. Freeze modeling. Freeze transforms. Select all these edges right here. Bevel them. Give it some subdivisions for rounding. That's good. What's wrong with my mouse? Okay, so let's freeze modeling on that guy. Let's extrude him. And that was no good. Let's take him. Control D to extrude, and it continues to mess around with me. Let's do Control Alt D to extrude. And there it is. We'll pull it down to, I don't know, something like that. Hit Control D, pull it down again, and then just hit Control D over and over again till you get something like that. Then let's select them all. Control D to pull them out over here. And maybe what we'll do is something like this. Select that last one, delete it. And then we'll probably just select all of these guys right here. Control D, move it over to about here. And maybe we'll grab this guy here. Make a duplicate there. Control D and make a duplicate here. And there we go. That looks pretty cool. pretty nice. Place this one maybe right there. And now all we need to do is create a cylinder here. Knock those subdivisions down. Bring it up, and we're going to flip it over to its side. And let's scale it down. Let's go over here to our front view. Scale it down by a lot. Open up the PPG and increase the number of subdivisions up to a straight. Actually, we don't want to exactly go with 24. No, actually, we don't want to go with 24, and there's actually a good reason. I want to go with something like maybe 6. 6 is good. Put it down about right here. Want to pull it out. To about here, I guess. Maybe knock the knock that overall size down a little bit. So it's gonna be something like this. And maybe scale it inward so it's not sticking out too much. Something like that. Okay, now we take these inside polygons, extrude them in something like this. Okay, something maybe like that, and extrude them inward like so. Take all of those inside edges and let's bevel them. So it's nice and round like this. Alright, freeze modeling. Control D to duplicate this shape, and we'll place it down here. About there, looks good. Take this guy here. Control D to duplicate him again. Place him about here. Control D, and let's place him about there. Let's get this guy here. Control D. Place him about there. Control D. Place this guy. Let's go here in this view. We can't see him. There it is. Place him about right there. Actually, I think it needs to be snugged over to the side a little bit more. Okay, so that's done. Now let's just do a few little details. And the details are going to be pretty simple. Let's go over to Polygon Mesh. Let's grab a torus. Close that PPG up. Bring this guy over here. Flip him over on his side. Go into this view over here. Let's switch over to hidden line removal. And I want to place him out right there. Let's knock, gotta knock his subdivisions up by, try 48 right there. That works. The main radius we have to knock down to about this much, and the cross section, let's knock that down by a good amount. Scale it down so it fits right here in the audio jacks. Push it in and we'll place it about here. Okay, good to go. And maybe make it a little bit thicker like that. Looks better. I'm going to duplicate it, and let me go into my front view here and place it. Let me get the wireframe. Place it about right there. Alright. The audio jacks are a little bit big, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale them down. So let me take this guy right here and scale it down a little bit more like this. Okay. And now all I got to do is, oops, take all of those guys right there and scale them down about that much. And take all of those guys and scale them down about that much. Alright. Nice. Now they look a lot better. Okay. The mouse ports are there. Everything else is there. Now we just have to add some screws to this. So that's actually going to be pretty easy to do. Let's go ahead and create some spheres. Let's go ahead and flip this sphere over and scale it down. Go into my front view, or yeah, front view is what I want to do. Hidden line removal mode. We'll put a screw up in this corner up here. Put that in there like that. I'm going to take these edges here and I'm going to delete those. And actually no, what I'm going to do is flip this on over like this. And let's hit enter and let's add subdivisions to this. Alright. Now that we did that, what we have to do is go into the side view here. And we have to select half the polygons, delete them, so we only have half a sphere left. Okay, and now it's really simple. Let's grab this guy and let's scale him in to flatten him out a little bit more, like that. And now watch how simple this is. Let's just take some of these polygons like this, and we'll take some of these polygons like this. Maybe we'll take those as well. Take those, take those, and I think that'll work. Alright, now all I'm going to do is Control D to extrude. I'm going to go locally, take COG off, and extrude these guys in. Let me go back to global now and extrude them in like this, and I'll scale them in on themselves so they're pushed back something like that. And there's our screw head. Alright, so let's take that screw head and let's put it into position. So we'll place it right there. Actually, let me move it over. Looks better right there. Alright, so it's placed right there. Let's duplicate it, move it over to the other side. I'm also going to need some on the bottom, so I'll select both of those, duplicate them, move them down here. Maybe I'll take that one and move it over just a little bit. Take both of them, duplicate again, and I'll place one here and I'll take this guy and place him over here so it looks different. I'm gonna grab that guy, place him right there, grab this guy right there, and place him about right there. Let me move him a little bit up to the side a little bit. Okay, so I got all those screws in position. I'm also going to need a couple more screws. So let me duplicate this guy. Move him about right there. Let me go back into my front view. Okay. I'm going to duplicate that guy and place him down here. I'm going to select both of these guys. And I got to move him in on this thing. So I'll move them to about here. Okay. And I'm going to take this guy here. I'm going to duplicate him, move him right there. I'm going to take this guy, duplicate him. And this guy, let me go ahead and just to get some variation, I'll put it right there. Variation helps. Alright. So we also need some screws for the fan. So let me take this guy right here, duplicate him, go back into my front view here. I'm going to place him right here. I'm also going to reduce his scaling down because he does have to be smaller. But let me actually go in here. I'm going to duplicate his scaling, but only in these two axes right here. I'm going to move him in to position right there. Let me go ahead and maximize this view. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to place him right there in the corner. I'm going to duplicate him. Place him on this corner over here. I'm going to select both of them, duplicate them, place them on this corners right there. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to leave it at that. I think you get the idea. We did a pretty detailed computer case with a whole bunch of parts and different things like that, which can be used now for our this looks like it's all done. Oh yes, I almost forgot. I have to create the little spheres for right there, so let's go to primitive. Let's go to spheres. Sphere. I'm gonna move this about here. I'm going to go back to my front view, and now since I have to work with the front, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that Z off. And now I can scale this guy down so it fits inside one of these little holes where it's going to go into. So something like that. And let me get rid of that PPG, it's getting in my way. I'm going to place it in here like this, and maybe I'll scale it up a bit, push it back. I'm gonna hit enter and increase the subdivisions to 24. I think the LED is pretty good right there. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate it and just come in here and wow, that was pretty good. It's positioned almost perfectly. Okay. So those LEDs are done right there. Alright. So probably the only thing that we're missing is a power switch. So why don't we go ahead and create a power switch. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take this guy right here and duplicate him. Move him up right here. I'm going to scale him up. And now I'm going to kind of flatten him down a little bit. So it's going to be something like this. Okay. Alright. Now let me go to my front view here. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to create a... Let me create a curve. Yes, let me create a curve. Actually, let me deselect that. Let me create a curve, and I'm going to go like so. Let me Alright, perfect. That's the middle. Alright. So I'm going to start my curve about, let me take point snapping off, turn grid snapping on. I'm going to snap my point to that grid point right there, and I'm just going to kind of go around like this, bring something in that looks like that. Now I'm just going to tweak this up to make it look more like a semicircle for the power switch. So something like that's going to work. And let's move it to position, something like this. I still don't like that. So something like this will be much better. Okay. Alright. I'm going to take this guy right here and let me see. That looks like it's not going to work too well. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a polygon grid. I'm going to take the subdivisions all the way down. And it's too big at the moment, so I'm going to knock down its scale. Now if it's scale knockdown, I'm going to go to point snapping, and I'm going to point snap it right here to the curve, to the last point of the curve. And then I'm going to bring it up like this, scale it down by a bit, something like that. And then I'm going to select that polygon, right click, extrude along curve. I'm going to select that curve. I'm going to turn on point knot per knot, and I'm going to increase the size of that. Okay. And I'm going to end up with something like this, which doesn't look too bad. Let me increase the subdivisions there. Alright, that's good. Alright. Let me select both the curve and the object. Kind of just move it into position here. I'm going to go to wireframe. I'm going to select the curve. And I'm going to go to points. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grabbing these points and just changing the position up. So it's going to be something like this, like that. Move it in like this. And let me grab both objects and move them down like this. I'm going to grab these points and the object selected. Actually, let me go like this. I'm going to select just the curve. I'm going to select these guys and move them out like this. And actually, no, this is a pretty stupid technique. This is not going to work out. This isn't going to work out too well. Not like this. Undo all this shit that I just did. Let's get rid of that guy right there. Let's create a cylinder instead. Take off all that shit. Scale it down. Move it into position. Scale it down some more. Okay. Increase the subdivisions up to 24 on this thing. Extrude that. COG. Extrude that again. Bring it down. like so. Extrude it again and bring it down to about this much right here. Okay. Now, let's take all these edges right here, or polygons I should say. Extrude them. Turn COG on. Extrude them in like this. Select these guys. Just extrude. Bring them in. Extrude it out something like that. Okay. Select from that edge down to about this edge, that edge, to about that edge. Or actually, no, we're not going to pick that half. Just these right here. And let's just scale these in on each other and make them straight. And we'll pull them in like this. Okay. Something like that. And then I'm going to select these points here. Just bring them in on themselves like this. Okay. So it's going to end up something like this. Let's look at that from the front view. Let's make sure that these points are all scaled in on each other so they're perfectly straight. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's go back to the front view. Let's isolate selection here. Let's take half of the polygons, delete them, then we'll symmetrize this guy. We'll pick all these center polygons right there. Okay. We'll hit extrude and we'll pull them in like that to make a little icon there of a power symbol. And last but not least, let's freeze all transforms. Let's select all these outer edges. Let's right click, let's bevel. Give it a couple of bevels there, a couple of divisions. So we'll end up with something like this. Freeze modeling. Not bad. And that'll be our power button. Okay, so we're totally done with this object. Now, all we have to do is select this entire object. Let's freeze modeling on it. Make sure you save. Alt and right click. Let's merge it so it's one object. Take the tolerance all the way off. Delete the original. We don't need it anymore. Let's freeze modeling on this guy. And let's just do just a couple of little touch-ups, although we really don't have to. Let me see what else I want to do to this. I actually want to take that point, connect it down here. And I'm going to connect that here, and I'm going to connect that up there. And now what I can do is I can take this edge, delete them and get rid of them all together. I'm going to take this edge, alt middle click that one, and it didn't select everything it was supposed to. Okay, now it did. I'm going to right click and I'm going to bevel that. And that actually looks kind of cool. So we can bevel something like that and increase the amount of subdivisions to maybe 3. That looks pretty neat. and I'm gonna leave it like that. So then I'm gonna freeze modeling, and I'm gonna hit let me see here. I think everything's good. I mean, I do have these holes here, but that's not really a big deal. Alright, so make sure I freeze modeling. With this object selected, I'm going to change the name to computer. And with the object selected, I'll go to File, Export.xsi, hit OK, export out as computer, and computer's done.